everyone. Today we are going to cover the topic of behavioral implementation. In the last class, we discussed about structural implementation. How in activating strategies, how actually structure of the organization affects the implementation of the strategy. Today we will be talking from the behavioral aspect. Behavioral aspect means that aspect of strategy implementation which have an impact on the behavior of the people in the organization. Those people who are working in the organization, how their behavior gets impacted, how their behavior gets affected from the strategy when we are actually implementing the strategy, right? So there are 7 aspects which are covered under behavioral implementation. First is leadership, then we have organizational culture, values, beliefs and ethics, social responsibility, corporate governance, organizational politics. Okay, so let's discuss each one of them in detail now. First of all, we'll begin with leadership. What do you mean by leadership? Leadership is nothing but it is just a ability or quality, you can say, which makes a person capable of convincing others, to work for him. So it is generally done when you are able to persuade others to work towards your objectives willingly and enthusiastically, which means that people are obeying you, people are working according to you willingly. You are not forcing them, right? Take an example of Mahatma Gandhi. He never forced anyone. People were willingly, supporting him, and they were walking along with him. So leadership is actually that only, that great leaders don't tell you what to do, but they show you how it is done, and then willingly you come up and you start following that leader. That is actual leadership. See, there are 2 ways. A manager or a leader, you can say, has authority. Authority in the sense, he always has that power. He can make use of that power, कि उस power को use करके अपना काम करवाए. The other way is by winning the support of his subordinates. That he is not forcing, he is not showing his power, he is not using any coercion or something, but he is winning the support of the subordinates. That subordinates willingly, they feel like supporting him. Okay, so these are the 2 ways. So a good leader is that leader only when something goes wrong, he takes the blame on behalf of his team. But when something good happens, they achieve something, for the achievement he gives the credit to the team. This shows the qualities of a good leader. Then what is strategic leadership? It can be defined as the process of transforming an organization with the help of its people so as to put it in a unique position. That means that leadership which will help you in transforming the organization, उन्हीं लोगों के थ्रू जो organization में काम कर रहे हैं, you try to change the organization, you try to take it to another level, to some position, by changing the attitude or the behavior of the people who are working there. Okay, so a leader has to inspire the people working there, has to motivate them, and all of them together work towards the common goal. Then what are the role of leadership in strategy implementation? See, generally on a broad level, a leader plays 2 important roles. First one is the architect of strategy, and the second one is as an implementer of the strategy. Architect of strategy means the designer of the strategy. Leader generally, designs the strategy, and then he also executes that strategy. So the designing, or you can say formulation and implementation, both are interrelated. Both have to be done in a effective way. Then only it can get you the desired results. See, if we take an example of GST, it was a very good law, very good resolution, but still, government implemented it in a too hurried way. So that's why these issues came up, the problems came up. The same is the thing with bullet train, which is supposed to be started from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. It has been put on hold just because it is the quality of the leader, it is a duty of the leader, that leader takes the people who all are involved in the project into the confidence. all the employees, all the people who are interested or who are directly or indirectly involved in the organization or in the project with the strategy which you are trying to implement, those should be mobilized accordingly. They should be taken into confidence, and then only you can make a effective implementation, right? After that, role of a leader in an organization. See, he plays 5 roles by introducing change, integrating conflict interest, and leaders also develop the motivational system in the organization. Leaders set organizational climate, what should be the what kind of climate organization should have, and then the leadership development. So let's discuss introducing change first. Newton has given a very good phrase, a statement, that bodies in motion tend to stay in motion and bodies at rest tend to stay at rest, which means that whatever is, see, change is the only permanent thing. Okay, whatever is stable, it would stay stable only, and whatever is changing, it will change only. So you can say change is the only thing which is stable or which is existing, you know. So Darwin said that it is a survival of the fittest, and how you can survive or how you can stay as a fit, you that can be done only if you are changing according to the time. If you keep on changing, keep on updating yourself, so it would be the survival of the fittest. You can be always updated and fit in the existing environment, right? So whatever the changes are happening in the organization, whether it is for growth purpose or some other responsibilities are changing, whatever it is, in whatever form it is. So it is a responsibility of the leader. The leader brings that change very smoothly in the organization. So smoothly, just hold on for a minute. So whatever the change is happening in the organization, it is leaders' duty to bring that change and to make it so smooth in the organization that there is very little chaos or the little opposition. Okay, the resistance from the existing employees or from any kind of management, it should be the minimal, right? The next comes, from this point of view, you can say that change should be brought after creating agreeable environment for that by taking the people in confidence. That means whoever is working there, those people should be taken into confidence, and then that change should be brought in the organization. While bringing change, there should be as much concern for people as for the project. So see, it is a human nature. Generally people resist, you know, nobody likes to accept the changes. Whatever the things are going on, they like to follow the same way. Nobody likes to bring a change. So it becomes the leader's duty or leader's responsibility that their mindset is to be affected. You know, their mindset is to be taken into, it should be changed with the time, or you can say slowly it should be changed so that they start accepting the change. Then comes integrating conflict interest. See, wherever 2 or more persons are involved, conflicts are likely to happen, likely to exist. That is, you cannot change this. This is universally acceptable. That if 2 or more people are involved, these are likely to happen. But those conflicts which are arising, how those are dealt with in the organization, that is the responsibility of the leader. If those conflicts, if not taken care in the beginning only or not taken care properly, then these may harm the effectiveness of the strategy, right? So the role of general manager, particularly the top man, is that of mediator and integrator in this situation. So what should be done? When a conflict arises, leaders should not take a side of one group or one party. He should take the things, or he should handle the things in such a way which is for the best interest of the organization rather than supporting any one party or one group, right? So he must always deal with the, by involving every member of the organization. He should talk from all the employees point of view, right? So together they can achieve more. That's why it is called as a teamwork. Then developing motivation system. Motivation system in the sense, see, every employee or every person who is involved in the organization needs to be motivated, whether it is in the form of rewards or in the form of appreciation. If that person doesn't feel motivated, he or she will not be working efficiently, right? So that motivation is to be provided from the leader. The good leader always keeps the people motivated. They feel that they are the part of the organization, so they work more effectively and more efficiently. Their needs must be recognized. They must be provided adequate incentives for their performances. After that, setting organizational climate. What is a climate? First of all, climate means any, if we talk about organizational climate, it consists of set of characteristics that describe an organization. Every organization has a different climate. No two organizations will have same organizational or working climate. It will be different. So these characteristics are relatively enduring in the sense it lasts for longer period of time and influence the behavior of people in the organization. Organization whose strategy is implemented with matching organizational climate are more effective than those whose are not. So it is vital that your strategy and your organizational climate should be matching with each other. It should not be contradictory to each other. Otherwise, implementation gets affected badly. So what can be some of the features for supportive climate? First is a supportive or conducive climate can be that in which there is absence of political maneuvering for organizational positions. That means कि कोई political operation, political exercise कुछ नहीं चल रहा. If it is absence, then it is considered as a supportive climate. There is no unfair competition going on, or there is no another internal conspiracy going on, right? Then another one is when you are rewarding your employees, you are rewarding on the basis of their performance rather than giving an employee a weightage on the basis of your relationship or on your friendship. They should be purely promoted or rewarded on the basis of their performance, right? That's a kind of fair practice. High standards of excellence in every area of operation and evaluation. That whatever the area you are operating in, it should be evaluated and high standard should be maintained. Then encouragement for participation and group decision and implementation. As a teamwork, to have that conducive climate in the organization, you should, promote group decisions, that you make it a teamwork. You involve every employee in the while taking the decision. Then encourage the innovation. Innovation means let be free, allow the new ideas come up in the organization. High standards of moral integrity in dealing with both internal and external matters. Okay, moral integrity should be a part of while dealing with the matters which are involved internally and externally as well. Then leadership development. See, it is right to say the leader is not one who creates followers. The good leader is that who creates more leaders. You should try to inculcate those leadership qualities in your subordinates so that in future they become the leaders. You don't have to just create followers for yourself. You have to create future leaders, right? So what did happen? What did Mahendra Singh Dhoni do? First he nurtured Virat Kohli, right? Then he felt कि okay, now he is imbibed those leadership qualities or he is good enough to manage the Indian cricket team. Then he gave up of that duty and then he took the charge, right? So this is actually developing the leadership. Then talking about the leadership styles are the pattern of behavior which a leader adopts in influencing the behavior of his followers. Just a second. So when we talk about leadership style, it is basically the pattern of behaviors which a leader adopts in influencing the behavior of the followers. See, generally लीडरशिप स्टाइल्स डिपेंड्स अपॉन द यूज ऑफ पावर, कितनी यूज कर रहे हैं एम्प्लॉइज को इम्पेक्ट करने के लिए, इन्फ्लुएंस करने के लिए, टास्क ओरिएंटेशन कितना है, एम्फेसिस ऑन रिवॉर्ड है या पनिशमेंट है. सो ऑल दीज डायमेंशंस डिसाइड योर लीडरशिप स्टाइल. योर लीडरशिप स्टाइल कैन बी योर autocratic leadership style, or it can be democratic or free reign leadership style. Autocratic leadership style is your authority, where you make use of more of your authority and your power. And democratic is where you involve your employees. Okay, you go free reign, where they also have a say in the decisions or in the organization. So that depends which kind of leadership style a leader is adopting. Okay, so that depends. Actually, it is said that your leadership style is more of situational. You cannot say that this leadership, autocratic leadership style is good, or democratic leadership style is good. It is all depends upon the situation which arises. So that situation will decide whether you have to be, sometimes you need to be very autocratic, or sometimes you need to be very democratic, depending upon the situation. Or you might take a, in between, somehow some part of autocratic and some part of a mix of both democratic and autocratic. Next comes your organization culture. When we talk about organization culture, it is the behavior of the organization, the way behavior of the organization members take place. It is a set of assumptions, beliefs, values and norms that are shared by an organization. Members में उनकी value, belief, norms क्या हैं, क्या चीज follow हो रही है, that would decide your organization culture. So there are 7 characteristics that capture the essence of organization culture. Actually, these are the 7 dimensions on which we prepare a scale in continuum from high to low or low to high. Then we see, before that, I missed that slide, I guess. These 7 characteristics are your aggressiveness, your stability, detailing, और कंपनी में रिस्क टेकिंग एटीट्यूड क्या है, परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड कितना है, टीम ओरिएंटेड कितना है, टास्क ओरिएंटेड कितना है. ऑन दीज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स यू से दैट दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज task oriented, it is very high on this dimension. When it comes to team oriented, it is medium. So on that basis you decide then what is the position of your organization, what kind of organization culture you have. See, then how your organization culture affects, what is the impact of organization culture. First is objective setting. See, your organization culture would always be influencing your objective setting. Suppose whether the objective of an organization is profit maximization or customer satisfaction, that comes out of the organization culture. If we take an example of Reliance, Reliance is always concentrating on the profit. So it is that is because that's the culture of Reliance Industries. So their objective setting gets influenced from that. Then coming about work ethic, what kind of ethics and how much importance is given to the ethics. Tata and Infosys, they work on ethics and values. So, yearly it is said that Infosys 60 or 70 people are terminated, fired from the organization because they are not performing their work ethically, right? Then motivational pattern. Motivational pattern means how organization culture achievement oriented है तो उनको achievement के लिए motivate करता है, or it can be they can always motivate them not towards the achievement, just to be a part of the organization and to work hard towards it, right? Nothing to do with the achievement. So relating culture and strategy, then how this culture and strategies are related, what kind of relationship they have. See, what we can do while implementing the strategy, one thing which we can do is we can ignore the organization culture completely, but that could be dangerous. The other thing is to adapt strategy implementation to suit organizational culture, that whatever the strategy implementation is there, we adapt in such a way. Adapt means, see, adopting is bringing something as it is. Adapting is to making changes in the thing and then implementing it, right? So we can adapt the strategy according to the organizational culture. And the third one is to change the organizational culture to suit strategy implementation. Again, it is gonna be very problematic if you try to change the organizational culture according to the strategy implementation. See, when Tata took over the Land Rover and the Jaguar, they adopted the strategy. It was a kind of merger or takeover, you can say, but Tata did not try to change the organization culture. Still, it is headed by the UK person only. He didn't try to appoint a Indian head there. और वहाँ पे यूके में ही है, यूके के ही एम्प्लॉइज हैं 70-80%, and the head is also UK based only. So if Tata would have tried to change the organizational culture, it would have created a problem. कि Indian culture को अगर वहाँ पे करते तो it would not have been good, right? And same thing happened, when Greg Chappell was appointed from outside as a coach of Indian team. So it gave very negative impact. Within 2 years, there was a fall for the Indian team, and the outcome was the World Cup 2007, because the Greg Chappell was unable to understand our Indian culture and the culture in which how Indian cricket is played and seen, right? So then there are some other cultural barriers to strategy implementation. First is low performing culture. Low performing culture is characterized by maintaining status quo. Status quo means there is no change. As it is, whatever was going on, the same thing is maintained. Rigid organizational process, very rigid, there is no flexibility, rules and centralized. See, culture generally change नहीं होता है. Culture जो चलते हुए आ रहा है, they try to keep the same. Low performing culture. This is what happens in case of government organizations, because there is a job security. So they are not bothered. They are working on low performing culture. Same has been maintained, right? So when environment changes necessitates the changes in the strategy, the organization finds it in dilemma. But when the environment changes, before 1991, India was a closed economy. Okay, so after when it became an open economy, the whole environment changed on a global level for India. And organizations were not able to accept. What happened? Those which were low performing organizations, they closed down. No, maybe not at once, in phases, but they closed down. And others were into a big shock. They didn't know how to change themselves and how to, they had to be very aggressive now to cope up with the environmental changes which were happening on a global level. Then second one is cultural diversity. Cultural diversity means generally it happens when an organization goes from international, from one country to another country. Just we took an example of Tata. So Tata did not try to change the culture because it would have affected the strategy implementation. If there is a case of merger and takeover, joint venture, strategic alliances, that cultural diversity is there which can create a problem. These are one of the some of the barriers for organizational culture. Then how can you develop a sound organizational culture? First is preserve core ideology while allowing for changes in some. So what happened? Tata preserved the same ideology on which Land Rover and Jaguar were working. They did not try to change the ideology, right? You can preserve, you let it you allow it to go as it is, the way it has been going. Second one is encourage experimentation and accept mistakes. You try something new, but you accept your mistakes and then work on those. Third one is grow managers internally from promotion. That means, see, your manager, the people who are working with you, they are well aware of your internal organizational culture. But if you try to bring somebody out of the organization, they don't know the things about your organization. They are not aware of your organizational culture. So it is always desired, or it is always appreciable if you promote the people from within the organization, and they have more acceptability also, right? Generally, we have seen it in case of politics also, like it had happened when BJP was bringing Kiran Bedi as a CM candidate in Delhi. So there was within the party only there were conflicts, that she is an outsider, why should we accept it? And if they would have, you know, brought up some person from BJP itself, then there is more acceptability. And this is what we talked about Greg Chappell also. Because if we have an Indian coach who has been an Indian player, who has been an Indian cricketer, batsman or bowler, they know, they are well aware of the things, that what is the culture in which our game is played. So it is always better. Then talk about values, ideology and ethics. What are values? Values are nothing but these are the convictions or a framework of philosophy of an individual based upon which he judges good or bad. Ideology is an organized collection of ideas. Ethics may be thought of in terms of mass moral principle or set of values about what ought to be. So these are nothing but these are your moral principles, right? Then what is the impact of these values, ideology, ethics? See, how do you perceive the things? It is said the way you are, you see others in the same way. Because whatever you are perceiving, that is your mindset, those are your values, those are your ideology. Suppose a traffic police, you get caught by a traffic police. So those are your values, whether you pay him 100 rupees bribe or you give him 500 rupees for your challan, right? So depending upon that, those are your values. Nobody can force you for that. Wearing a seat belt, wearing a helmet, those are all kinds of values which vary from individual to individual. Okay, so everybody has different values, different ideology, different ethics. Then comes social responsibility. Every business is a part of society, so it bears some responsibility towards society also. How does it give it back to the society? So social responsibility and strategy implementation can be connected, that it should not overlook the social responsibility issue. Strategy implementation, while implementing the strategy, you should always consider the society. On social ground also you should consider the decision. Second, organization may operationalize social responsibility while strategy implementation. Same, that has to be taken care of. It should not create any harm to the society, and it is essential, it is vital for your long-term survival. Then corporate governance. What is corporate governance? It is a system which has been developed for managing a company, so that all the interest of all the stakeholders is taken into consideration. It is generally done to promote fairness, transparency and accountability. So for that, the code says कि board of directors की जो composition हो, it should be such कि सिर्फ internal members ही ना हो उसमें, there should be external members also. Then there is a disclosure of information. You know, disclosure of information means of whatever the information is there, it's not mandatory, but it is desired. It is appreciated if you disclose all the information. Generally in AAP, they before election they had disclosed all the information from where they got the money, in whoever has contributed how much, वो सारी चैरिटी की डिटेल्स थी कि उस इंसान ने हमें इतनी चैरिटी दी है, कंपनी के फंड्स में इतना दिया, and that was out of corporate governance. It is required, like for political leaders also, it is requested or it is required that they disclose all their property and whatever the total wealth they have. But generally it is not done, or it is done in parsimony, right? Nobody does it, but it should be there. Then management practice, and this should be practiced as a part of management, so that this fairness, transparency and accountability can be maintained. Then talking about the organizational politics, it can be defined as self-serving behavior. Organization politics exists everywhere, right? It has to be there. It can be either for the acquisition of power को acquire करने के लिए हो, या फिर to protect one's own domain, अपना अपना area territory को save करने के लिए हो, or by building the groups in the organization and then seeking their support. So what can be done? Since no organization is free from politics, be it a small organization or big organization, it is a part of every organization. But it depends कि कितने degree का politics है and कितना intense politics है. If it is not very intense, then it can be easily. First approach is you can understand it and you can try to manage it very cordially, right? Second one is, if it is a very intense organization politics and it is jeopardizing the organizational working, then it should be eliminated so that the dysfunctional consequence uska kuch na ho, right? So these are all your 7 aspects of behavior implementation, and this is how it affects the strategic implementation. That's all for today's class. You can put up your queries now.